Zombies. Long have they fascinated the human psyche. Somewhere between life and death, these ghastly abominations have graced folktale and film screen alike. But are these stories of the carnivorous undead mere child's fantasies? Or do these horrors walk among us? Tonight, we will attempt to shed some light on this question on the History Channel presents The Geneva Incident. Geneva, New York, a small, quiet community on the shores of Seneca Lake, home to both friendly residents and the many students of Hobart and William Smith colleges. A self-described, student-centered learning environment, globally focused and grounded in the values of equity and service. On April 27, 2007, these dedicated students awoke to find the calm college community they had grown to love thrown into chaos by what the Department of Health later identified as a chemical spill, despite the dissenting accounts of many eyewitnesses.
I think this is probably an example of collective psychosis, and I'm not saying that because that's the government line necessarily, but just because there's evidence of this kind of thing happening in the past, and there's no evidence of zombies.
I'm very skeptical of the idea that you can blame any sort of town-wide catastrophe on so-called undesirable elements. I'm very suspicious of that kind of classist explanation, particularly when there is evidence to suggest that something did happen and it was not simply a chemical spill.
The chemical spill originated at the New York State Seed Testing Laboratory under the directorship of Dr. Albert Kim.
Well, the day is just like any other day, except we're so close to finding results, and we're excited. We're performing a final stage experiment, and I guess when I turn around, my sister wasn't away, and somehow accidentally spilled some chemical on her. It's very unfortunate, though. The chemical hardly made contact. We were all wearing protective gears. But we followed the safety procedure, we were cleaning up, and we thought everything was fine.
But it would soon become apparent to both Dr. Kim and the rest of Geneva that everything was not fine. First-hand accounts have enabled us to reconstruct the events surrounding one particular group of individuals. At Odell's Village, students Matthew Craven and Ken Mace shared a condo, while Kaylee Jones lived in a neighboring unit. At the same time, a local resident, Seamus Thorson, was cutting wood near campus. At the campus library, the president of a student political organization, Stanley Kotek, was studying, while David Johnson, a student employee of the Technology Services Department, was working. At approximately 6 o'clock p.m., the Geneva 911 emergency dispatch received this phone call.
911, what's your emergency, please?
You gotta help me! There's a man outside! He bit my cat! He's bleeding everywhere!
Calm down, madam. Where are you calling me from? What's the situation? Where are you, and what is the actual emergency, please?
There's a man outside! He's biting people and animals! He's got blood all over him! My house
Okay, I guess the question is how many people are hurt? How many ambulances do you need? We have an ambulance on its way, but you must give us further information to find out what the actual need is there. Please, calm down, lady.
Police! Anything! There's another one at the back door! They're bleeding all over my house!
Okay, ma'am, the police and sheriff's department have been notified. You're going to have them also involved in this. You say that these people are getting bit right now. My God in heaven.
At approximately 6:15, Officer Erica Green responded to the emergency call.
One thing that I always find very striking about the narrative is that, a mad scientist creates some sort of concoction that gets accidentally spilled on, of course, a female lab assistant, who then becomes the source of the contagion. And then, of course, a police officer is called in, some sort of authority figure is called in, and the police officer so happens to be female, and of course, she is instantaneously engulfed in this contagion.
At the same time, Stanley and David exited the library.
So we come around the backside, right? I don't know. just coming around the corner. He was there with me. This thing comes out of nowhere. I thought it was just somebody trying to to mug me. I don't know what's going on. You know, it's pretty muggable, but I thought that's what was happening. But no, that guy was covered in blood. He looked dangerous. I don't know. I just went into defense mode. I didn't kill anything. All right, those things were already dead. All right, it's not. I didn't kill them. Everybody gets this whole thing wrong.
Meanwhile, Kaylee Jones was attacked near Odell's.
I was walking home in Odell's. I was on my way home. It was really close to my house, and all of a sudden, these two guys out of nowhere, they were all bloody. I had no idea what was going on. They just were coming at me, and I didn't know what to do. And I fell, and everything was it was a blur. And then all of a sudden, Matt came running out of nowhere and just kicked them down and drove me into the house and saved my life.
Off campus, Seamus Thorson had a similar encounter.
I was working on this one tree. I looked over and there was a person walking towards me. And normally when you're in the middle of the woods, people don't generally come upon you, especially not people covered in blood and walking very oddly. So my first instinct was to ask what was wrong, and upon not hearing an answer and seeing that they didn't look quite right, I just decided it would probably be better to kill them.
These things, I don't really know what you would call them. They're just gory, lifeless people. They were calling at the door, and we got some weapons together from what we could find in the house, and Matt called some of his friends to come pick us up. And when they got there, they beat their way out of the house, and we got in the car and just sped off.
After the library, after we grabbed some weapons and whatever, we go over to Odell's, and we see these zombies. They're attacking the guys we were there to get, and I don't know. I wasn't diving into that fight.
Right, so we got in the car and we sped off, and we were heading out of town. And right when we were about to leave, there was a car, like a crash, it was blocking the road.
The road was blocked, but everybody wanted to go. We had to go there, so rather than stay in the car, we all got out of the car. Isn't that smart? We all got